Hello there and welcome to another live chapter reading for Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Today I shall be reading from The Christmas Carousel, Book 2 of the Brass Ring series by K.L. Small. Chapter 1, Grandad's Memory. I bounded up the stairs to the second floor, skipping every other step. At the top I hesitated, tugged on the chain hanging around my neck, and the magic brass ring popped out from behind my shirt. The ring was warm in my hand, but no tingle shot up my arm, no flash of lights, no blast of cold air, no time travel to the past. I sighed, disappointed that the magic only worked on the carousel. With the carousel in Barnwell Park closed for the winter, there wouldn't be any magic adventures until it reopened after Memorial Day. The door to Grandpa's bedroom was open, so I edged inside. On the walls, family photos replaced my posters of fire trucks and firefighters. Grandma's hand-woven patchwork quilt covered the bed. The faint scent of her lavender perfume lingered like she had walked into the room not too long ago. I missed her. Last year after she died, Grandpa had come to stay with us, and I moved out of my room and into the damp, unfinished basement, where the furnace and hot water heater made loud whooshes and clanging noises while I tried to sleep. By the window, the wooden rocking chair creaked while Grandpa rocked. He leaned back with his eyes closed. The turned-down corners of Grandpa's mouth showed me he missed Grandma too. I stepped closer. Since Grandpa's stroke, he often napped in the rocker. Grandpa, I waited, then tried again, speaking a little louder. Grandpa. The rocking stopped and Grandpa opened his eyes. Well, hello, Ethan. How was school? I frowned. It's rusty, Grandpa. Uncle Ethan is a grown-up. I'm only 11. Rusty? Yeah. See my red hair? Uncle Ethan isn't here. Grandpa rubbed his forehead. Oh, right. He didn't sound convinced. After leaping onto his bed, I sat on the edge of the mattress and let my legs dangle. School's okay. I have to find a poem to share with the class. Grandpa set the rocker back in motion. I always liked Robert Frost. He closed his eyes and the wrinkles round his mouth deepened. In a clear voice he recited, Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. The room was silent except for the creak of the rocking chair. With my finger I traced the stitched pattern on the quilt and waited. Is there more? Yes, but I don't remember the rest of it. Grandpa rubbed his forehead and took a deep breath. Seems like I'm forgetting a lot of things lately. Do you remember the magic ring you gave me? Grandpa brushed his hand over his eyes, then slowly shook his head. No. Disappointed, I hopped off the bed and wandered around the room until I paused at Grandpa's dresser. On top of the old piece of furniture was a collection of framed photos. A silver frame held a black and white picture of Uncle Ethan as a child, playing with a toy fire truck. Uncle Ethan was my hero, and I wanted to be just like him. Did Uncle Ethan always want to be a firefighter? Grandpa chuckled. He loved the story about how my mother was saved from a burning building when she was a baby. Ethan never tired of hearing about the firefighter who ran into the building to save his grandmother. I smiled at the memory of when I rode the carousel with the magic brass ring and travelled through time to meet Jimmy the fire horse. We had an exciting adventure together. Grandpa, that firefighter was me. I told you all about it, remember? I don't think so, Grandpa said, shaking his head. You wanted me to ride the lead horse on the carousel? Grandpa stared at me with a blank look. I used the magic ring and rode Jimmy the fire horse. We fought a big fire and I saved a baby's life. That's quite a story, Grandpa said. I clenched my teeth together. Why didn't he remember? Wait a minute, Grandpa tapped the pocket of his flannel shirt. I have the button from that firefighter's coat. It's here somewhere. Grandpa, you gave me that button a couple of months ago. Right you are, Ethan. I sighed. Talking to him was so confusing. Grandpa, do you want the button back? The rocking stopped. What button? The firefighter button you gave me. You can have it back if you want it. What would I do with a button? Maybe your mother can sew it on. I fingered the chain hanging round my neck. It held the brass ring. The ring had turned each carousel ride into a magical adventure. I dangled the ring in front of Grandpa. Do you remember this? Oh yes, very pretty. Sweet Violet gave it to me. With excitement, I crouched beside the rocking chair. I had asked so many times how Grandpa got the ring, but each time he avoided answering. Now I was about to find out. Who's Violet? Grandpa leaned back and gazed upward. Sweet, sweet Violet, hair the colour of a night sky. He set the chair rocking again. And Violet gave you the ring? I said, hoping for more information. She did. Grandpa frowned. Or did I give her the ring? Blazes, Grandpa. I took a deep breath to stay calm. The creaking stopped, and Grandpa sat motionless, staring at me. Who are you? Rusty, your grandson. Standing up, I tucked the ring back in my shirt. This was so frustrating. I wasn't going to learn any more today. Let me see when dinner will be ready. With drooping shoulders, I dragged my feet down the stairs to the kitchen. Then I had an idea. Maybe my mum could answer some of my questions. Mum stood at the sink washing carrots. She wasn't wearing her hospital scrubs, so she'd be home for dinner tonight. My 8-year-old sister Sarah sat at the kitchen table, tracing her hand on a piece of paper. I joined her and watched her get marker stains on her fingers. What are you doing? Lifting her head, Sarah smiled and stopped drawing. I'm making a Thanksgiving turkey. Thanksgiving was next week. A whole week off from middle school, and I could hardly wait. Despite my excitement, my thoughts returned to the question Grandpa wouldn't answer. Mum, who's Violet? With her back turned to me, Mum cut the carrots into small pieces. The knife clicked against the cutting board with each slice. That's your grandma's name. Violet Elizabeth Barnes. Everyone except your grandpa called her Lizzie. He always called her Violet. Usually Sweet Violet. Grandma often baked cookies for me when we went to visit. Her smile always made me feel loved, and she used to pat my head and call me her precious little man. I only knew her as Grandma, and had never heard her name. With a quick reach, I snagged one of Sarah's crayons and twisted it between my fingers. Grandpa told me Sweet Violet gave him a brass ring. Or maybe he gave it to her. Wiping her hands on a towel, Mum joined us at the kitchen table and sat between Sarah and me. The story was a little different, depending on who told it. They both agreed they met on a merry-go-round, and there was a brass ring. That would be a fun place to meet, Sarah said. Back in those days, you could grab a metal ring as the horses went round. If you got it, you could turn it in for a free ride. According to Grandpa, he pulled it free but lost his grip. It went flying into the air, and a pretty dark-haired girl was riding a horse behind him, and she caught it. I held my hand to my chest and felt the ring under my shirt. Could this be the ring from that merry-go-round ride? After the ride stopped, the little girl gave him the ring. Grandpa said it was such a sweet thing to do, he gave it back to her so she could ride again. That little girl was your grandma. Sarah clapped her hands. I like that story. I frowned. He didn't keep the ring? No, honey, he didn't. Mum rose from her seat and went to the microwave. The magic brass ring on the chain must not be the same ring. It wasn't the one Grandpa was talking about. The one Violet had given him. I still didn't know where the magic ring came from. Sarah put her crayon down and held her weird turkey drawing for Mum to see. Do you like it? It looks good enough to eat, Mum said. I acted like I was going to throw up. No way. She stuck her tongue out at me and said, I'm going to show Grandpa. She skipped out of the kitchen, waving her drawing like the turkey had wings to fly. I rolled 2 crayons across the tabletop. Mum, what was Grandma's version of the story? Mum laughed. She had leaned way out as the merry-go-round circled. She grabbed the ring but dropped it. The rude little boy on the horse behind her laughed really loud. After the ride stopped, she ran to pick up the ring and she cried. The boy told her not to cry and gave her the ring. She said that he had a big grin on his face, and that boy was your grandpa. I like both stories, I said. I guess that's why they always loved carousels. She went to the refrigerator and took out a container of butter. Mum, I hesitated, unsure what I wanted to ask. What is it, honey? Grandpa thought I was Uncle Ethan. Returning to the kitchen table, Mum stood beside me. Grandpa is having problems remembering things. He called me Sweet Violet the other day. Her voice cracked. I took him to the doctor and... What is it? My hands tightened round the edge of the table. With a soft touch, Mum stroked the top of my head. Grandpa has Alzheimer's. Have you heard of that? I nodded. One of the kids in my class had a grandparent with the same thing. He'll have good days and bad days. Days when he won't know any of us, and days when he thinks we're somebody else. We need to be patient with him. When he called me Ethan, he thought I was his son, not his grandson. I'm afraid so. He may be confused sometimes, but he loves us, even if he doesn't recognise us. Do you understand, honey? I tried to keep my voice steady, even though my insides were shaking. Sure. Grandpa was forgetting me? Mum squeezed my shoulder. Go tell Grandpa dinner will be ready in about 10 minutes and help him come down the stairs. With slow steps, I went back upstairs. Grandpa gave me the brass ring that took me on an amazing time travel adventures. It had changed my life. Now I wish the magic could change Grandpa's life, so he could remember his family and ride the carousel horses again. I hope you enjoyed that reading and that you'll go check out the book. Thanks very much for watching. Bye-bye.